Hello and welcome. Today I'll be building a new Ryzen computer. Why am I building a new computer? I'm building it for my father. He's finally come around to upgrading from his 2011 iMac, pictured here. So what kind of computer am I building? Well, it's budget. The man doesn't need a lot of power. So it's going to be a Ryzen computer for under £350. £350 is a very, very basic for a desktop, but it's going to have a lot of power in it. This bad boy is the brains behind the new computer. The Ryzen 3 2200G. 4 cores, 4 threads, 65 watts, powerful and energy efficient. So as I said earlier, this computer costs about £340 at the current prices. That doesn't include monitor and it doesn't include keyboard and mouse. It's just the bare bones system to get up and running. Oh, and of course it doesn't come with Windows 10. That's, £80, £90, £100 on top. Or, from a dodgy website. That's up to you. So this system will consist of a Ryzen 3 2200G, 4 cores, 4 threads, as I said earlier. The stock cooler, powerful, sleek, quiet enough. Kingston's 240GB M.2 SSD, very compact but powerful. Read speeds of about 500 megabytes a second, so strong enough. 4GB of HyperX memory, plenty enough for future-proofing it for 5 years for a budget computer that's only going to be using music, movies, browsing the internet. But it's also powerful enough to be running very, very low-end games. So like World of Warcraft, Diablo, those sort of low-end games where you can put the settings down to low and it'll be powerful enough to run. A 300 megabits wireless card for the PCI Express X4. Plenty of speed right there. A 550 watt power supply, gold rated, got to save those trees. A micro ATX board, the Prime A320. It's tiny, but all you need. And a Fractal design case. Small, compact, once again, all you really need for a budget computer. Of course, as it's a budget computer, we're not going to have any discrete graphics. The APU built into the Ryzen CPU will be more than powerful enough to power than any low-end games, as I mentioned before. Okay, so here we are. The very first thing I always do is build up the motherboard outside of the case. So let's get on with that and do that. So this is the ASUS Prime A320, so micro ATX board. Let's open that up. Okay, I've already opened this up before, but yep, got the SATA cable. Oop. The actual motherboard. Put that down in the anti-static bag. Open this up. So we've got some documentations. We've got the drivers, and we've got the grill. Honestly, who even adds a CD drive anymore? I mean, I haven't had a CD drive in my computer for about 5 years. So let's toss that CD. It's very important first to static yourself. So touch anything that grounds you to the ground. I use either a radiator or my fan that's plugged in. So you can usually tell things when you get a static shock off them. Touch them and you'll de-static yourself, because you can fry these motherboards, and I have done that in the past. Very expensive mistake. So on this motherboard we have an AM4 slot, that is for the Ryzen CPU, just there. 2 RAM slots, so we've just got one 4GB RAM stick, so we don't need any more than that. 4-pin CPU power connector, power port I should say. The 1680X board power. 1 PCI Express 16 slot, that's for graphics cards. 1 M.2 slot, so we'll be using that for the Kingston SSD. 2 PCI Express 4 slots, so we'll be using that for the network card, so we can get broadband or Wi-Fi from the broadband. On the ports we have the basic audio ports, the gigabit Ethernet, the 2 3.0s or 3.1 I should say now, USB, the 2 2.0 USB, the 2 and not 2 more 3.1s, HDMI, so you can plug in a monitor. Very important, it's got the HDMI nowadays, because every monitor now has an HDMI cable. PS2, keyboard and mouse. Who still uses this, I will never know. and also a DVI port. Once again, who uses that? I never know. It's all about HDMI and DisplayPort now. Okay, so let's build this up. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to add is the CPU, so the Ryzen 2200G. Take that out. Oh, not anymore, you just lift it up. No idea why they changed that, I quite like the old one. To find out which way the right way to go is, you've got to find the arrow on the corner, so that one's pointing towards me. And then you have to find the arrow on the board, which is here, and then you just slot it on and it fits straight on, perfect fit. Okay, a perfect fit like that, and then you've got to clamp it back down like so. There's no real clamping feeling to these boards anymore. You used to really give them a bit of force and then you'd obviously know that it's in place. With this you just put it straight down. Okay, the next thing I'm going to add is the 4GB of DDR4 RAM. Only run one real way to put this in. You can tell by where the divider is. The divider being there. Open it up. Find the right way, which is this way. And then push down. Sometimes you've got to use a bit of force. So we've got the RAM in, and we've got the CPU in. Next we'll add the SSD, which is an M.2 factor. Okay, so these things really are very, very small. And it will go where the PCI Express lanes are, here. Fits in like that, and then you need to screw it down with a screw that should come with your case. There we go, finally went in. Took me way too long. There we go. Right, and that's fully in now, and that's going to be the boot drive. And now I've got 101 screws everywhere. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is put on the stock cooler. It's already got pre-applied thermal paste. Okay, so it looks like you need to take this off. They're on very, very, very tight. Okay, so that's off. Okay, that screw is on, so you don't want to tighten this too much when you first put them on. Usually want to cross it to the other side. Yep, and definitely cannot tighten that anymore. You want to plug that into here, to the CPU fan, and then you can just, well, you have to leave that hanging. Anyway, and that is pretty much the basics of building the motherboard. So now we've got to put this into the case. So let's do that. Okay, so in some cases the standoffs are already screwed in, but not on this Fractal design case. So we've got to screw them in. And there's a sixth one. Okay, now we want to place the motherboard over this on top of the standoffs. But first, you want to install the grill. This is a common mistake to always forget to install this before you put the motherboard in. Very common. I have done it many a time. I'm putting the crap away. Okay. And then you just got sort of push it through. Push it through so that you can see the threads, and then you want to get these ones. Okay, so now the motherboard is screwed in, we then want to work on the power supply, which is for this. Okay, so this is a gold rated Corsair 550 watt power supply, very energy efficient. It's semi-modular, so it comes with the 16x cable, but it also comes with the two 4-pin CPU cables there. Luckily we just need one 4-pin for this build. Some may require 8, but this just requires 4. So the PSU is now installed. Okay, so the 4-pin goes here. Okay, well, no click, but it's in. So these are all Molex cables, Molex and SATA cables, both male and female. Also we have PCI Express power cables for GPUs, as we don't have a GPU, so in this case we only have one fan. The fan is located at the front here. It pulls air from the outside, the cool air from the outside, into the case, creating a positive airflow, and because it's positive airflow it will try to correct that and neutralise that by pushing the air outwards. The air that it's pushing out is the hot air just laying about in the case. PCI Express 300 megabits wireless card. Inside there we've got the actual card, we've got a bracket, and we've got two antennas to pick up the reception itself. We will need the second one off. That off, and then that will just snap off. Slot this in and put this in. Okay, good. That's now in, and then you want to put the screw back on just to support it. Nothing more than that. We've all got to have a bit of support in our life sometimes. And this PCI Express card is no different. Okay, that's on. Next we're going to put the antennas, or antennae, depending on what your pronunciation is. Now you either want these pointing straight at, like that, but on both sides, or pointing towards wherever the router is going to be, so you get more double signal. I'm going to put it straight up for now, because it's not going to be in this room. Connecting the cables. The very first one is a USB 3.0 or 3.1, and that will go in the only thing that can actually support it, which is this big one. Next is a USB, that will be the front 2.0, and that will need to go in, so you can see where the holes are and where the... It's very important to keep the user manual for the motherboard, for the small pins down at the bottom where you got to wire up the front of the case. So the power buttons aren't actually displayed in the manual, funny enough. It's the smallest manual I've ever seen. It's like 12 pages, and the actual writing is on the motherboard, but it's bloody tiny. So okay, so the build is now fully done. CPU's in there, PSU's in there, the RAM's in there, the SSD's in there, the wireless card's in there. It's all plugged in, it's all powered up. There's nothing that I'm missing. It feels weird to have a build without a 2.5 or 3.5 inch drive in here and also no CD drives, and no SATA. So first time I've never used extra cables apart from what's actually built into the PSU. So yeah, let's see if it powers on. Hopefully it powers on. Okay, right. Let's power it on. Okay, success. The CPU is spinning, the PSU fan is spinning. Not until I put an operating system or until I HDMI into it. But that will be my next video, once I actually get the OS running on it. So join me for that. I've done the physical build, next I'm going to do the software build for it. And that will definitely not be tonight, because I'm very tired. Right, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Out.